Good evening and welcome to another episode of In the Trees with your host, Matt
and Derek.
And in tonight's episode, we're going to take a little bit different spin. Derek, would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, of course, guys. We've been usually kind of picking one, certain topic. Today we're going to try to do something a little bit different where we talked about more, relevant topics, more kind of what's the news articles of the week, So we kind of picked a couple of topics we thought were the big ones of the week.
Yeah.
And wanted to kind of go over those things today with you guys.
Okay, so first topic we're going to talk about tonight, folks, is the wildfires up in Canada. That is some crazy stuff, Derek. So just bring up CBS.com. We had a news article that they wrote about, and just to go over some of the things, apparently this is a 9,600, it's 960,000 acres, which would be one of the top 5 in California ever. California's got an environment, Derek, that is very used to getting burned down seasonally.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Yeah, usually.
But Quebec's not as equipped for that kind of disaster. It's not as... It used to only happen on record about 150 to every 200 years. This is the second big wildfire in 30 years. And just a little bit from what CBS was sitting here reading, as dense smoke from the wildfires burning in Canada continued to blanket parts of the U.S. on Thursday from Minnesota to Massachusetts, as far south as North Carolina, forecasts suggest air quality will not improve substantially for the next few days. According to Jen Carfago, a Weather Channel meteorologist, she said, "We have been in a blocked pattern across North America all week long that has kept an area of the upper level low pressure stuck over the northeast. The flow around the low pressure has been gilding wildfire smoke from Quebec into the northeast, the Great Lakes, and even as far west as the Ohio Valley, down in the mid-Atlantic as far past as New Jersey." We're talking school closing, Derek. We're talking about flights being delayed. We're talking about people wearing masks again. Holy crap, not again.
From what I've seen some pictures of it, almost looks like a scary movie, like something you see in there's like that one comedy movie. It wasn't even like it was when the California was on. This Is the End, where they were basically the whole Hollywood Hills are on fire and the whole background. That's almost kind of what it looks like. I think on this article there's a picture of what it kind of looks like. Oh yeah, here.
Look at that.
Literally looks like kind of like a horror movie or just some in the world time, because it's like this is good breathable air.
The mist is finally settling in. But anyways, folks, it's really unfortunate. I know a lot of the animals won't be able to recover. There's going to be a lot of devastation ecologically speaking. But the United States apparently sent 600 firemen up there to help volunteer to fight the forest fires, but they're still raging on right now. So the question really, I think, remains is, when will that actually come to an end?
Well, it's literally not even summer yet, so it can be a good sign that it's already this hot. Well, more so, we're having this bad of fire issues before the summer is even kind of starting.
I read another article that El Nino is already here as well, which is meaning the summertime heat wave is here. Scientists were saying because it's so early, it's like almost 2 months early, that there's a 1 in 4 chance that it's going to be a super hot summer. There's a 50, 55, 56%, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I read somewhere, I think it was one of the local forecasters that were mentioning that it was going to be an extremely hot summer.
I'm looking, it's looking that way.
And honestly, if you didn't give me that description of what you just said, I probably would have thought you were talking about like a chupacabra or something. So I'm glad you gave us some detail on what you're talking about.
So speaking of El Chupacabra and the extraterrestrials and paranormal stuff of that kind of, cryptic nature, look at this article on the debrief talking about a whistleblower. Remember me and you talked about this in private. There was legislature passed this year that allowed military officials that have witnessed a UFO or extraterrestrial, things that they could not be held criminally liable for now coming forward with that. That was passed by Congress.
I remember you actually did that.
This is the first person that I've heard of that's a big one. Go down and talk about this guy real quick. So apparently it's a former intelligence officer turned whistleblower who has given Congress and the intelligence community inspector general extensive classified information about deeply covert programs that he says retrieved intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin.
So in his interview, I watched a little bit of his interview. He actually talks about how he's like, in crashes, he's like, they may or may not have pilots, and in this case, he had pilots, kind of. He was basically, like I said, he's definitely saying a lot. But go ahead and continue reading a little bit more of this little part.
Yeah, so as it goes forward on the article, the information, he says, has been illegally held from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging that he had suffered illegal retaliation for his confidential disclosures, reported here for the first time. Other officials in the intelligence community, both active and retired, with knowledge of these programs through their work in various agencies, have independently provided similar corroborating information both on and off the record. The whistleblower, David Charles Grush, if I'm saying that right, 36. Wow, he's actually a year younger than me. A decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, is a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. Didn't even know. Where in the alphabet soup is that?
Look, all I'm saying right now, guys, is you could have a gun to my head, and I would never got that sentence right.
And it says that he says the National Reconnaissance Office. He served as the Reconnaissance Office's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. I heard about that too. From 2019 to 2021. In late 2022, he decided he was the NGA's co-lead for UAP analysis and its representative to the task force. I heard about this.
Actually, I have not.
The United States Pentagon authorized a department to be made to study the threat, as they called it, of aerial phenomenon that they could not identify either as non-sovereign or foreign or extraterrestrial.
Yeah, I noticed you kind of got excited there reading that. Matt was reading this kind of like as it was, he hadn't read this yet.
This is fresh off the press, this is so validating to a lot of conversations we're going to have in the future, folks, because if this guy is exactly what I think it is, and let's be honest, it's a trickle feed. You all know, if you have half a brain, that there's probably a good chance that there's some other advanced species in the universe. Whether or not they've made contact with us, we're not alone. It's just mathematically just almost it is impossible. We have no idea where we stand in the universe. We're certainly not the center of it.
Yeah,
are we far along? Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We're getting there.
I've seen a lot of big people talk about this, actually. It's not even just that aren't just like in the conspiracy groups, of like amongst like us, but like I've seen like some big people, like people in like kind of like more religious groups talking about this, like they're like kind of shooken up, like, wow, does this mean like, no guys, like just relax, there can be still like a lot going on in space, you don't have to like get religious shakeup or anything like that, but it's very interesting. And but I've also kind of heard some, it being like a government psyop, maybe that we're about to start having these really super advanced technology that we're just going to start revealing, and like, oh, that's just actually just aliens, guys, we told you there's aliens. But, I was watching a video of them talking about, there was a psyop where, the U.S. government was leaking information. Hey, we're, working on, superpowers, with, mind reading abilities. And it got to the Russians and they started doing it. And then we were like, oh, crap, they might be doing that for real. So let's try to do it. And there was a whole movie based on that. It was like The Men That Stare at Goats. So this could be one of those things where like, hey, we're just trying to throw you a misdirection. And there might actually be some more important news that's going on that we're not even aware of at the moment, But I definitely like to more think of it. It's actually more aliens, because that'd be a lot cooler. And just the fact that, we got these, heck, I mean, I think I read somewhere, or I think maybe in his video, he's talking about they're already starting to reverse engineer this stuff that they've discovered. And
they've been
exactly.
engineering it.
Every time we think something's new coming out, it's, the U.S. government has had it for like 10, 15 years. Like when the stealth bomber came out in like the 80s and stuff like that, or when they revealed it, it had been using it for 13, 14 years before we even knew about it.
And those are known technologies that aren't suppressed.
Yeah, exactly. So when the government finally lets us know about some super advanced technology, it's been being used for 10, 15 years.
It's something they've already commercialized, folks.
And this is exactly what this could be. Like, we could just be having some super advanced aircraft that we just came out with, and we're just like, oh no, guys, it's aliens, that's what all it is. It's just...
For all we know, we're reproducing those ships and selling them to other species. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Who knows? Who knows? You don't.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
We don't. I mean, it's just...
And what else are they hiding, really?
Without people like this guy, it's really hard for you to draw the line between what is necessary and what is not. But I do know this. If more people like him come forward, it will give more credibility to people that question the everyday person that questions whether or not that they're aliens. But here's the problem that a lot of people don't want to talk about, is that aliens would basically throw everything out of the Bible. And that's a huge portion of the earth that has a vested interest.
I don't necessarily think that would happen. Like I said, even some of the like more conservative like videos I've followed, even some of them are like, hey guys, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with religion. There could still be a God, you know.
Oh yeah, there definitely could be.
You know,
but just
the Bible
not
only focus on the earth. That's all it talks about. It doesn't talk about any planets. It doesn't talk about anything. It just talks about the earth. So it doesn't have to, you know, shake up your religion.
It's a man-made construct that aliens didn't exist, because I don't believe that the Bible initially said that either. I give you credit where it's due. I think that's something the church has made moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
As the constructs of their own rules and regulations that they abide by. I don't think that's something actually.
It could just be that one planet that kind of messed up, and they're like, hey guys, hey, we can't go to Earth. They ate the apple, the fig, whatever. And
I mean, depending on what you believe, God, by all means and descriptions, would fit the word of an extraterrestrial. But we won't go there in this discussion. But speaking of religion and state, guess what we've done? Moving on to our third topic today.
If all you guys know, we are actually from Oklahoma. If our accent didn't get away, or any of the
correct
Oklahoma-based topics.
Little slang that we throw in there now and again. Guess what we did, folks, in local news? We became the first state to approve the nation's first public religious charter school. What does that mean? I'll break it down for you. Oklahoma authorities approved a Catholic-led bid to open the country's first publicly funded religious charter school in a landmark decision that is expected to spur litigation over constitutional limits between church and state. The split vote from the Oklahoma statewide virtual charter school board on Monday caps months of debate over government support for Secretary of Education that has divided the state's educators and elected Republicans, including Governor Kevin Stitt and Attorney General Gentner Drummond. Oklahomans support religious liberty for all and increasingly innovative educational system that expands choice, Stitt said in a statement. What an idiot. Today, with the nation watching, our state showed that we will not stand for religious discrimination. I'm not even going to touch that yet.
Yeah, I don't think we have that problem here in Oklahoma. But
the state charter board voted against approving the application in April, rightfully so, though the decision allowed church leaders to address the board members' concerns, then refile the request before Monday's final vote. We are elated that the board agreed with our argument and application for the nation's first religious charter school, said Brett Farley, executive director of the Catholic Conference of Oklahoma, in a statement. Parents continue to demand more options for their kids, and we are committed to help provide them. Catholic Church officials formally asked Oklahoma and Oklahoma's virtual charter school board early this year to open St. Isidore, if I'm saying that right, of the Seville Catholic Virtual School. But faith leaders, elected officials, and public school advocates have urged board members to reject the proposal, drawing a rebuke from recently elected State Superintendent Ryan Walters.
I like that guy, actually.
Yeah. The approval of any publicly funded religious school is contrary to Oklahoma law and not in the best interest of the taxpayer, Drummond said in his statement.
I don't disagree.
It's extremely disappointing, that the board members violated their oath in order to fund religious schools with our tax dollars. In doing so, these members have exposed themselves to the state, to potential legal actions that could be costly, the Attorney General said. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, I personally, I'm, a little mixed on that one. I definitely, there's always supposed to be like a separation of like church and state, I think.
A definitive one.
Yeah, so it's a little weird. I mean, because they wouldn't be okay if it was like a Muslim school, or if it was like a some
other unorthodox religion. Period.
Yeah,
Period. And it's 100% funded by our taxpayer dollars. That's where the line comes from. So you're not getting a choice whether you support Christianity or not.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that would be going there would be those Christian kids. So, I mean, in a way...
Yeah, I'm not against Christianity in any way, shape, or form. More power to anybody that wants to have their own religion. I have my own personal beliefs, but I respect Christians on a fundamental... You're a Christian. I respect you on a fundamental level. You're Christian fundamental, beliefs. And I respect you because there's a lot of solid material, historically speaking, that now as a amateur scientist as I try to consider myself. I'm very objective when I look at the facts, and the Bible has a lot of correlating scientific evidence now that backs it up. That diluvian flood, I didn't learn about this stuff until I was in my 30s, past college.
Yeah,
wasn't something in there.
I definitely didn't know basically every major religion had like a flood, but yeah, there's definitely stuff that it talks about. But that's kind of getting off a little bit the subject of this particular thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely weird. I mean, I guess it's not really weird, but I feel like it definitely kind of crosses that, like what I just said, that church and state should be separate.
Yeah,
and the fact that are people who are like a different religion okay with their taxes going to that,
right?
In particular,
what if you're a devout Buddhist or devout, atheist?
I mean, I can't think of
anything.
More than like 3 religions.
right. No, I mean, there's thousands of religions in the world.
Are you okay with your taxes going to a church-based school that's going to teach? I mean, it's Catholic too, so there's offshoots of Christianity that aren't Catholic. I would definitely wouldn't consider myself
But if you're a Protestant and you're paying for this.
I think they're similarly close, so they probably might not have a huge deal with
Baptist.
it. But most of the religious people I knew that were like wealthy enough to even care, they just went to private schools. So
what if you're a Luciferian?
I don't even know what that is.
Worship the devil, Derek.
Oh, okay. See, that I was like, I heard Lucifer and that, so I was thinking that, but I was like, I'm not gonna like just
Luciferian.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had their whole they try to actually do that in Oklahoma, where they try to bring like their 10 commandment of like
they brought the statue of Baphomet, which
is
an ancient Babylonian god who specialized in child sacrifice. They would put them in bulls that were on fire, bronze bulls, and literally cook the babies alive.
Yeah. See, like I said, that they try to put they did it when they went to a couple places where they
try to put a statue of him on the front
real
Capitol.
Quick there, guys.
Yeah. I draw the line of forcing your religion and your beliefs by law onto somebody else.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
That I don't agree with, because I would not want that done to me in any other. Like, what if it was Buddhism? I still wouldn't want it. If it was Taoism, if it was Christianity, if it was any religion being forced upon me as I'm paying for its upbringing, that doesn't make sense. But what do you expect in the Bible Belt? We're in the center. We're literally the epicenter of the Bible Belt.
With the buckle, basically, what I've heard.
Most churches per capita, highest teen pregnancy rate.
Yeah, I think that's why it's going to continue being here, honestly.
Maybe not the highest, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
Top five, folks.
I definitely don't see it going anywhere. It's just going to be one of those things that it just trickles down to another school going like this route.
Right. Where does this lead?
Exactly. And I mean, it's just, definitely interesting, because are people going to be okay with this eventually in the long run when it's multiple schools or a whole school district?
Right.
I mean, time will tell. It's an interesting topic, to say the least.
Yep.
But guys, I think that's what we're going to do with this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know. Give us some positive feedback. We'll kind of see what, the outcome of like the analytics. I do kind of look at those a lot, especially on my days off.
Make sure to follow us on our Twitter and our Reddit at In the Trees.
I'll try to post them actually in the description this time. I didn't even think about that until just now. I was going over some description stuff.
Links in the bio.
And actually, I'll post all our articles that we read as well. So if you want to go into them yourselves and read those, I'll put those in the description as well, guys. I'm actually about to go take a little vacation. I'm gonna go New Mexico. I might try to go stop by some Roswell, see if I can't take some little videos. I'm not sure if that will be the next topic, but I definitely, gonna try to have a little fun while I'm gone.
I could talk about aliens all day.
Like I said, we can talk about aliens all day itself. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for In the Trees with
Matt